Actually, Tosh uses them for themselves now.
So recently my feed has been filled with channels talking about the state of gaming, mostly complaining, talking about how it doesn't hit like the good old days, but in the same breath they'll mock new graphics, comparing them to PS2 games from their so-called good old days. As well as this, we have a handful of devs that don't want to aim their games towards gamers, people going nuts over a samurai because he's not historically accurate. There's a weird war between activists and gamers about skin color and how big boobs should be in games, which is obviously huge, right? Yeah, huge. On top of these so-called issues, we have to deal with the standard crap like microtransactions in solo games, Ubisoft, unplayable janky games, Ubisoft, mechanics that haven't been updated since Far Cry 2 back in 2008, Ubisoft. But no, all joking aside, I am seeing a lot of these gaming is boring now videos, as well as way too many drama videos that claim to be from gaming channels. I get it, drama does get clicks, but they're just feeding into a narrative and wasting your time and energy. And let's be real here, it's not gaming's fault. Gaming is only getting better. If you genuinely think gaming is bad now, let's talk about it. So here's the thing. Every gamer thinks the best era of gaming just happens to be the one when they were 14, were on some sort of summer break and had no job, just games and an endless supply of snacks. This isn't a coincidence. Think about it. You just really like that time in your life and that's fine. People say stuff like modern games just don't hit the same. Okay, cool, but what if it's not the games? What if you've changed? Back in the day, your brain was literally throwing dopamine parties every time you got an achievement. Now you got bills, burnout, and a backlog of 400 Steam games that you definitely plan to finish, right? It wasn't the golden age of gaming, it was your golden age of gaming. And don't try to tell me that all your friends agree with you, because of course they do. They were there with you in that COD lobby, dropping N-bombs and bragging that it was a school night. Ask your grandparents when their golden age of gaming was. I highly doubt they're gonna say Fortnite Season 10. Let's be honest, part of why games feel boring to you is because we're drowning in options. You boot up your console or PC and it's, what do I play? Elden Ring, God of War, that obscure pixel art game I bought for $2.49 during the Steam summer sale in 2020. And then you just go back to getting destroyed on League of Legends for 8 hours. It's the Netflix problem. So many choices that you scroll for 45 minutes, feel guilty, and end up rewatching The Office and complaining that there's nothing good to watch these days.
Ask the questions.
What the hell was that?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Hey.
Back in the day, I bet you had like 3 games, and one of them was probably a demo disc. You played it because that's what you had. But now, you'd likely uninstall a game if it doesn't grip you in the first few minutes. That's not boredom, that's decision fatigue disguised as criticism. And this is being amplified by some content creators going through the same thing and making their audience believe that gaming really is dying. And what a perfect segue to my next point. So this is quite a big part of the conversation when it comes to talking about the supposed downfall of gaming. We are inundated with endless drama and controversies surrounding any upcoming release. Almost to the point that some gamers now prefer to watch the downfall of a studio and complain about a game instead of actually playing it. I mean, look at the live chat in every gaming showcase recently. It's filled with looks trash, DEI slop, or show GTA 6. And if they did show GTA 6, the chat would still be flooded with looks trash, DEI slop. When all the negative Unknown 9 Awakening videos were going up, I didn't see any gameplay, just trailers used as B-roll whilst they mocked it. Don't get me wrong, that game was trash. I didn't hold back in my review and I was given a code. What's funny about that is my video actually got more views than the game got players on Steam. But anyway, think about the most recent controversies surrounding games. Do you actually care about any of them? Some studios use their games to push a political ideology and that's fine, but it won't get them very far with gamers if they don't focus on the game. I personally didn't like Dragon Age the Veilguard's use of gender politics because it pulled me out of the fantasy aspect of the game to remind me that this is a big topic in the real world. Although it's not something that would stop me buying or playing, it might do for you, and again, that's fine. It was actually the boring gameplay and dull storytelling that stopped me playing, and yeah, I reviewed that too. But this brings up a good point. Some games are just bad, but that doesn't mean gaming is declining. There's always gonna be a turd of a game released the same year as a masterpiece. 2022, Elden Ring, masterpiece. Also 2022, Saints Row, yeah. That same year, we got some hugely successful games like Stray, Sifu, High on Life, Dying Light 2, God of War Ragnarok, Marvel Midnight Suns, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Horizon Forbidden West, and Ghostwire Tokyo. But then we also got some stinkers like Rainbow Six Extraction, As Dusk Falls, Gotham Knights, and A Plague Tale Requiem. But it's all good. We need a game like Unknown 9 that's so laughably terrible that when we play Elden Ring, it hits like a truck. Bad games are great at holding up good games. So let studios make their turds in peace, and we'll just wave and laugh as we play something 100 times better. Okay, let's take a second to appreciate where gaming is at in 2025. We have open worlds the size of countries, NPCs with thousands of lines of dialogue.
Get to the Cloud District very often? Oh, what am I saying? Of course you don't.
Near photorealistic graphics, and multiplayer games with 100 people simultaneously teabagging each other in 4K. Meanwhile, back in 2002, our minds were blown if the water had ripples. Games like Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, these aren't lazy attempts at a game. They are artistic monoliths coded by teams of wizards and very caffeinated zombies over literal decades. Games aren't getting worse, they're getting so good they've broken your imagination, which again perfectly segues onto my next point. Here is the uncomfortable truth. You've likely been playing the same three genres with the same expectations for 10 years. You're chasing the high of your first Skyrim dungeon or that first successful base raid in Rust. But that feeling was new because you were new. You've become a gaming gourmet who complains that nothing tastes good anymore while still only ordering chicken nuggets. The answer is, of course, trying something new. You might be right that there's nothing good to play right now, but only because the genre you've been glued to for years hasn't had any big releases recently. Or you're stuck in your ways and only like a specific experience within that genre. Why not try a roguelike, or farming sim, or try a game with such a strong narrative that it will emotionally ruin you for weeks? Trust me, there's a world beyond battle passes and headshots. As much as we don't want to admit it, video games aren't just power fantasies anymore. They're not just about shooting aliens and grinding for purple loot. Some of them are about grief, connection, the weight of revenge, a hostage being forced to play a card game to try to keep his fingers. The point is, gaming is growing at a rapid rate in all directions. And whilst it sounds bad because it definitely means we're going to see a lot more forced, cringy games pushing ideologies and agendas over focusing on gameplay, it's also a good thing because we're going to get better stories, characters, graphics, new genres, and it will get way more difficult for the Unknown Nines to even be in the conversation. To get back to the original point of games growing up, it's likely that you feel they've changed too much for you to enjoy. Again, trying something new could definitely help you here. If you just force yourself to play a new game and let it surprise you, challenge you, and even slow you down, you might find something deeper. Games aren't getting boring, they're just evolving. Okay, it's not really fair that I've been blaming gamers this whole time because there are a lot of different types of gamers out there. We aren't all angry little goblins, furious about anything offered to us. So what about the majority that just want to play a good game, they don't get sucked into the political crap, and if there are microtransactions in their Assassin's Creed game, they can simply ignore it without the need to type 400 rage-fueled tweets. There are plenty of these gamers, you just don't hear from them because they're quietly playing what they like and ignoring what they don't. So let's pretend for a second that every gamer is an angel and just wants the best for gaming. The next place to point the finger at its apparent decline in gaming would be the developers. And you would be completely wrong for thinking this. Over the years, we've had countless examples of studios seeing us as nothing more than walking dollar signs and wondering how they can squeeze a little bit more out of us before we realize we're not having fun. And it's not just that. The bigger studios are notorious for working their staff too hard or just outright harassing them. I mean, former Ubisoft bosses are on trial right now for sexual assault and bullying, which doesn't sound like it affects our games, but maybe if they stop trying to bang everyone with a pulse for 5 minutes, we might get a finished Assassin's Creed game. But yeah, to summarize, gaming isn't cooked, people are. Nah, I'm joking, but two big things do need to happen if you want to enjoy gaming like the good old days.
Oh god!
You need to expand your horizons past a game where all you do is hold down the shoot button And some game studios need to focus on the games and not real world politics or new ways to squeeze extra money out of us. I know you can't control that second one, so just stop being so hard on games and accept that you've changed. It's not bad, it just means new kind of games might hit you harder, and you can go back to the old ones without needing to compare. It's all good, revisit what you loved, but with different expectations. Nostalgia is a lens, not a destination. Basically, just stop chasing the rush you got as a jobless 14-year-old getting their first Halo win, and make a little space for a new type of rush from a game you weren't expecting. I would have never given The Last of Us a chance as a kid, but it's easily in my top 5 now. But yeah, hit sub and maybe drop me a comment. Let me know what games you love now that younger you would have hated. Thanks for watching.